Hello friends, this is Raman Gill with your weekly Forex market analysis for the week of April 10th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. If you have questions about your individual investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. In this video, we'll start off by taking a look at our economic news to see what's coming down the pipe this week, and then we'll take a look at the commitment of traders data to see how the bigger players are positioned, and finally we'll go over to our charts to take a look at technical analysis. Looking at our economic news here, we start the week off with Fed Chair Yellen speaking. Anytime there is a central banker speaking, market pays a lot of attention to their speech, so this will be important for the US dollar in case she mentions anything about the policy. Going into Tuesday here, we have CPI, which is the inflation number for British pound. We are expecting it to be over 2%. Last time we had a positive inflation number and pound jumped up, so we're expecting that this time as well. If we get a positive number, we are likely to see the pound jump up, so pay attention to that. And then we have Joel's job openings and also FOMC member Kashari speaking for the US here on Tuesday. Going into Wednesday here, a very important day. We have Bank of England Governor Carney speaking. Again, market will be focusing on his speech and looking for direction in terms of the policy. And we also have average earnings index for the British pound here. And in the US session, we have another central bank here. We have Bank of Canada interest rate and rate statement, and there is also a press conference later on. So this will be an important day for Canadian dollar, as well as we have crude oil inventories. So this could be market moving for Canadian dollar. We're not expecting an interest rate change. However, the market will be watching Bank of Canada, and they'll be looking for the verbiage that they use in their statement and what they say in the press conference, and looking for direction from the Bank of Canada. Later on, we have employment numbers for Australian dollar and trade balance for China. Going into Thursday here, we have Bank of England credit conditions survey, as well as manufacturing sales for Canadian dollar and PPI number and unemployment claims for the US. Another important data point here that's important for the US will be preliminary UOM consumer sentiment number. And that's pretty much it for the week. We do have the bank holiday going into Friday for Good Friday here, so we don't have any data on Friday in the earlier session, in the UK session, but going into the US, we still have the CPI number and core CPI number. Again, inflation numbers, these are important for the US dollar here, and we also have core retail and retail sales number, again important data point for US dollar. However, a lot of traders may be away from their desks, so the liquidity may be low on Friday, so keep an eye on that. Moving on to commitment of traders data, we're looking at Euro US dollar here, and looking at our leveraged money positions, we see that short positions have increased. We have gone from 59,919 leveraged money short positions, this green line here, and those have now increased to 67,000 from 59. So that's a good sizable increase in the short positions for the euro, as well as the asset managers as well. They have decreased their long positions, so this indicates short for euro. Looking at pound US dollar here, we see that the leverage money positions have gone from 48,279. There's a slight increase in the short positions. We have gone to 49,538, as well as a slight decrease in asset manager short positions as well. So this is slightly bearish for British pound. However, we do have a lot of data coming out for British pound, so that needs to be kept in mind as well. For Canadian dollar here, we see another increase in the short positions. We have gone from 38,929 to 41,936 short positions for the leveraged money. So this points to long US dollar or short Canadian dollar. Aussie US dollar here, we do see a decrease in the long positions. We have gone from 53,000 long positions to 50,600 long positions. So that's a decrease in long positions, which means this is bearish for Australian dollar. Looking at New Zealand commitment of traders data here, we see that the line has crossed below the zero. So there is an increase in the short positions. We were in the long position territory, so now we have finally crossed into the short positions here. So 2,900 short positions. So this is negative for New Zealand dollar. Moving on to our charts here, looking at Euro US dollar weekly chart, we did have a weekly bearish close for Euro, which means that we are likely to see more bearishness in the Euro. Looking at the daily candle here, a very nice daily candle. We did break below this 10600 level, and the price is now trading below the 10600. So in this case, we could see a potential move back up into 106.35 or 50 area. However, at this point, this does look bearish, and the next target we have in mind is our support at 105.20. So this is important support and resistance area. As we can see, this area has been tested many times before. So this will be the first target, 105.20 area. We could see a test, like I said, into 106.30 here, but we are bearish on Euro. If the price manages to break below 105.20 and hold below that, the next target here is 104.50. Looking at pound US dollar, a very nice weekly bearish close on the candle, so we're looking for a follow through on that. Looking at the daily chart here, we are into support into 123.80 area here. Once the price holds below this level, we would be looking for further move to the downside. So the next target would be 22.50 area, which is this support and resistance level here. If price manages to break below 122.40, the next level will be 121.40 area, or potentially 121.100 area. So those are the next two levels. However, we do have Bank of England, Governor Carney speaking, as well as some important data for British pound coming out this week. So something to keep in mind. Dollar CAD here, very bearish close for the week. We did see that the price had trouble breaking below the 132.80 number. So now we have an engulfing candle at this point, which points to a bullishness in dollar CAD. Looking at the daily candle here, we have been trading in this range for a bit. We do have a big pin bar here, which points to bullishness in dollar CAD. However, we are still in this range, and we are looking for a test of the high here, 134.50 level. If the price manages to break through, the next target would be 13500, but this is an important support and resistance area. And we also have interest rate statement from Bank of Canada, so that would be a big influence on dollar CAD, so watch this carefully. Looking at Aussie US dollar here, very strong close on the weekly here, and we're looking for further continuation to the downside. Price has broken below this 0.7500 level, and now we are moving towards the next target, which would be 0.7450 area, and below that 73.80. So those would be two targets to the downside. New Zealand US dollar here, very strong again close, bearish close for the week, so looking for a follow through in this. We have a very strong close for daily here as well, and as a result we are looking for a follow through to the downside. The next price target for this one would be 68.80, and below that 68.59 level. So at this point we have seen a nice move to the downside, so just looking for price to come back and test this support area. So that's it for now. I will see you next time.